Planning Center. Super fun. So yes, we are trying to make it as easy and useful as possible, again, both for scheduling and for accessing your lessons. If you haven't yet, I highly recommend downloading the app on your phone. I think for general public's usage, like it's probably more friendly for you. Me, I get frustrated with what I need to do, and so I go to my laptop. But for like putting in blockout dates, which we're going to cover, for seeing when you're scheduled, for putting blockout dates in, like the app is right there on, like most of us have our phone nearby most of the time, and when you're waiting, you're already on your phone. So download the services app. It's Planning Center Services. It's green. It's got 3 lines with 3 dots beside it if you need the picture reference. But the handout that you have or are getting is screenshots of me going into the app so that you know what you're looking for. Because sometimes we enter at a different spot in the app and you're like, I don't know where I am. Like, I'm in the woods. So sometimes you get all the way out to where you have to choose like which ministry you're going to go in, and then once you're in the ministry, you have to choose the weekend gatherings. And so I've started at the beginning of where you might enter, like as a bird and coming down in. So the very first one, and mine might look different because I have permissions for more things than you, but just in general, what you are looking for is weekend gatherings. So that second line up there is where KidMin is housed, is in weekend gatherings. You trying to point the fancy thing. I'm a little closer. All right, so weekend gatherings, right there. That's what you're looking for. So then if I click on weekend gatherings, then inside you're gonna have these choices. Women's conference, which I don't remember the last time we did that, but worship is gonna give you Larry, which you don't, unless you wanna sing, like you don't want there. And then here's KidMin, and then guest services and observation team. So you're gonna click on KidMin, and then once you get there, you might not have anything here if you're not scheduled. Okay, if you're not scheduled, you won't have anything, but you see all of these down at the bottom: schedule, plans, songs, media, and people. Like you get to choose what you see down there. So I am on plans, and so it shows me where I am scheduled up here. And so then I can click on this Sunday if I want to see if I'm scheduled. And what's going to pop up is the main order. And so on that main page, it just tells you general information about nursery, about preschool, about elementary. Reminder, like, hey, if you need specific things, although with this curriculum, what we've started doing, because supplies just keep cycling through over and over again, we are providing all of them for you, and so you just have to come and choose the supplies that you need for your class. I hope that's helpful for you, but it's just recycling a lot of bean bags and hula hoops and cotton balls and all the things. So they're there in the large group room, and you can come and access. Then if you click on Teams, so see at the top where it says Order and then Teams, it's going to show you who is scheduled on that day. So you kind of see, and I'm right here, I'm on elementary at 9:30 is on the left side. And so these are the people in elementary at 9:30, and we have an opening here this Sunday. And then elementary at 11, and Miss Anna, you haven't confirmed. It's still yellow. Good job, Bev, you confirmed. And then we had someone who declined, and so then it shows how many people we need as a K-1 small group helper, and then you can see. So Sometimes it's helpful, especially now with our schedule being helter-skelter, like who is in the room with me? Can I reach out to that I can see if I can help with something? Or if, say, something comes up and you can only serve at 9:30, but I've scheduled you at 11, you can see who is serving at 9:30 and possibly switch with them services. So that's also an option when we go to coordinators in the week 1, 2, and 3, 4. So that's kind of looking at that view. And then here is files. So it has the same order, teams, times, which is 9:30 and 11 every Sunday if you don't know. Notes if there's anything special, but I hardly ever use that spot. But files is where you're going to find your lesson plans. And so there is one for nursery, which what we've been doing is taking the preschool welcome stations and putting those there. And so in nursery, we just want you to be super intentional with the words that you are speaking over those babies as you're loving on them. And so read the lesson. It's super simple. If there's an older, like 2-year-old, they're not transitioned yet to the 2-3-year-old classroom, you could be more intentional and do some of those activities with that kiddo if you're able and you don't have a crying baby on your hip. So we know that every week it might be a little different, but if you are able to be able to speak at least over these kiddos. And then preschool, they have their lesson here. Here is the worksheet, so you can take a look at it and see if there's anything on there that is useful for you to do during class. Otherwise, we're asking that you send the worksheet home with every family and pointing out, like, it's a resource. Here's what our Bible story was today. Here's the main memory verse. Here's this. So if we don't be intentional and point that out to our parents, it's going to end up at the end of the hallway in the trash can, which happens. And it will still probably happen some even with telling them. But we want them to know this isn't just a coloring page to add to the pile. Like, this is a resource so you can have conversations intentionally with your kids throughout the week that talks about what they were doing this morning. So building on what we are all doing together. And then I have also been adding the theme song, which is the same for the whole month. And so they're getting repetitive in singing, and I hope that's been useful for them. And then also the theme verse video. So if you haven't been in there and you don't know the motions or don't know how they're showing it to the kids, that video is there to watch. And then the next slide, I'm just showing the bottom part of the files. So elementary, the same thing. There's the older elementary file. There's the younger elementary. There's the theme song. So elementary volunteers, you can practice or at least hear the song. So as you're coming in, like, you're able to participate. I will be honest, the song this month I'm not clicking with as much as the one from last month. Like, last month I really loved that song. So I'm struggling with this song, but I'm still trying. And I'm hopeful that next month I'll really click with that one. Not that it's bad, it's just it doesn't hit the same way. So, but it's there for you. So, and then their worksheet, their activity page is there, the schedule is there as well. So tells you and reminds you of what your time looks like as you're there in large group times. Any questions so far? Have I lost you from the beginning? Okay, what's next? Okay, so if we are back on the main screen in the app and we're now down at the bottom, we're on schedule. Up here is going to have your name and say My Schedule, has Add Blockout as a button, has Email Leader. So I'm like, I didn't know that email the leader button existed. So I clicked on it to see what happened, because why not? And it had, and I don't know if it's different for you, but for sure it should have me as an option. Mine had Jenny and Nathan, and so I don't know what fun leaders you might be able to email, but it might have a direct button there for you. But also in all of my emails, if you haven't noticed, like my sign off also has my cell phone number on it. So if you ever have a question or whatever, or need something like text or call, that is available to you. It just has me. Maybe because you're only under me to serve so far. I don't know. Again, I see all kinds of things. I don't know what permissions you all have. So, and then it tells you how good you've been about confirming or unconfirming or declining. I think on the main page on the website, you get a score. So how good are you at telling me you're going to be here or not? But if you click that add blockout button at the top, here's what happens. So if you have multiple people in your family that are in Planning Center services, so all of you are in Planning Center people, there's like 5 or 6 Planning Center apps, but you're all in people, but people in your family might not be serving anywhere. So you'll see that I'm there, Greg's there, and Dean is there. Zoe is not there because she's not serving yet. So you might not see all of your people, but you'll see all of your people who serve. And so then you can choose if you have permission. Like I tried to click on Greg and it said ask permission to enter a blockout date. So he hasn't given me permission to do that for him. But I have permission for Dean, and so I clicked myself and Dean. I think this is where some people have been putting in their blockout dates and getting their kiddos in there too and blocking everybody out in their family and not realizing. I wouldn't have realized if I hadn't looked closely. So at the top highlighted are me and Dean. So I'm saying from June 3rd to June 10th, it's not repeating. I'm on the El Salvador mission trip. Dean is as well. And so I'm going to click that up there at the top. And then when I click it, it goes back to the screen, and my blockout dates are now down here at the bottom. So some of you, every time I send you an email, you put in your blockout dates, but you keep putting them in for like June and July, and you've put them in like 5 times. Like you'll be able to see like, oh, I've already done it. I don't need to put it in again. So you can do that, or have I told her about that vacation or that trip away? So you can go and you can check what has been blocked out already for you. And then if there is a reason that you want to reach out, you're serving with someone and you want to talk about the lesson or whatever, the people button down here will show you who's in services and you have access to their information to contact. Questions? Yeah. Once I started doing it on there, it was way easier than the computer because you can get all kinds of other buttons and options on that. Ruby? Yes. Right. Unless there's something like, hey, I'm blocking this out, but I can serve at 9:30, but not at 11. Like if you had, like you could send that in an email. But if it's just like you're going on vacation, and you've put it here, you don't have to tell me. Because when you do a blockout date, I have it set to auto send me a notice, so I get when you put a blockout date in. You can put a time, yes. You also can very easily block out like forever. Because someone has done that, more than one someone has done that before, and they're like, why aren't you scheduling me anymore? I'm like, because you are not available anymore. And so then we do investigation, and they blocked it out for eternity. So we can fix it, but we have to figure out what the problem is first, like where did it go wrong? And it's normally like not paying attention to the year or whatever. But this is super helpful currently for me building this schedule with all of my Jenga pieces. If you put this in ahead of time, I can line up pieces and parts way more easily than if you decline after I send it. Then like oh no, if I had known that, I would have put that person there, and that would have put that person there, and that would have. So it's a lot of shuffling if you do it after I do it, and a lot of frustration. If you could tell me ahead of time, or if like I've gone through this and you have the printouts and you're like, I still don't know what I'm doing, Tammy. One, I can sit beside you and walk you through doing it. I can help you do that, because Planning Center isn't always the easiest thing to learn right away, but once you do it, it's easy. Greg, a computer software engineer, had to watch tutorials on how to use it. So us normal people have no chance. So you're better if somebody helps you. Or if you're like, I don't even want to try, I don't have time for that right now, I would much rather get an email from you saying, I'm going to be gone June 3rd to June 10th, than for you to just decline it afterwards. Please be kind to me, friends. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. It's not an Apple product. Is that what you said? Other options. Is it an Apple phone? Okay. I was determining whether I was going to be able to help you or not. I only know Apple. I'll take a look and we'll diagnose. Yeah. I might have clicked on something maybe that you haven't entered into yet, so we'll figure that out. Any other questions? Is that helpful? I know I haven't given you any tutorials on the app before. We've always focused on the website. But I think this would help you and I.